Welcome to the second video in this, well, basically this homemade tutorial series on Stellaris Console Edition. In this particular video, we're going to be handling a few things that you will run into as you start your game. And last time I had everything set to get going, so I'll just unpause the game here, put it on high speed. One of the few things that you need to know if you're a new player is that the first few times you will play this game, you will probably lose. And that is not because the game is shitty or because mechanics don't work. There is just a lot of stuff to learn. And it's not called grand strategy without reason. To be completely honest with you guys, I lost like the first 3 to 4 times because it was tough as hell and I had practically no one to help me. Up until one point a friend of mine actually did help me. So, you know, I figured these videos will be able to do the same for you guys. So, what you do in the beginning really depends on the kind of empire you are playing. Right now we're playing Xenophilic Egalitarian Empire, which means that most likely you will have xenophilic and xenophobic empires, but seeing as you're xenophilic, they will most likely like you, or at least tolerate you. At least that's my experience. That's why I picked United Nations of Earth for this video. If you play xenophobic slave masters, for example, or militaristic spiritualists, yeah, that might be a bit tougher. If you go hive mind, that's tough as nails. That's I think that's the hardest setup you can play in this build on the console. But that's just my opinion. So, you know, just everyone's entitled to their own. Basically what you want to do is either one of two things. You either want to play tall, which is one or as few planets as possible and as much research as possible. Or you go wide, and wide is basically get as many planets as you can and start building. Get unity buildings up, get research buildings up, get resource buildings up. Just pump it all out. I myself tend to go wide first, like a lot. Like, well, I try to get at least a quarter of the galaxy when I can. And then I start building these, in the meantime I start building these resource buildings, right? Holding on to the resources already given to the tiles. And as soon as that has passed, I want to go and get the tech going. Because if I know I have enough to keep building in a rapid pace, that's when I know I have enough minerals. Then I start building research labs and I start pumping them out of the ground like it's water from a well. Alright. So aside from which you choose to play with, one of the few things that you do first is explore the galaxy before you can even go anywhere, let alone colonize a planet. Right now, in the screen, you can see an anomaly, and that's because my science ship found something on Mars, ancient signs of life. Now, there's a couple of options that you got here. There's a failure risk. That is one of the most important things to keep an eye on. If it has 20 to 30%, I would recommend doing it, but if it's higher, I would not, because there is a chance you lose your ship and the leader in it to the event. You can change your scientist if necessary, which is really useful, especially given certain anomaly levels and difficulty levels. You could just leave it be. For now, there's a 0% failure risk. Let's go research. So the story develops, the ship does its thing. You can just click away the notification because you've been handling it. That's gonna be fine. One of the few things that would probably be a very good idea in the beginning is get more science ships. Now obviously you can't have everything. Right now I have to make a choice, and I'll show you what I mean. I can get either a second science ship, which has its own benefits, or I can choose to save up, I'm already almost there, and get a colony ship. Why? I know that this particular world, although I have not yet surveyed it, is not only habitable, but it has 13 tiles. 13 tiles is not exactly the best thing, but considering it is already within my territory and I can claim it already, that's a good thing. Why? I tend to go wide first, tall later. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna save up, get a colony ship going. All I need for my science ship is to actually survey the planet in question, and I can start colonizing it. As soon as that's been done, we'll get this show on the road. So I've been talking about you guys in the previous video about all these screens, and as this series progresses and the game progresses and everything else, I will keep going back to these screens, these different parts of the game, and keep explaining them to you guys, because I realize that it is a lot of information and there's a lot of stuff to find, and I will just go with you guys step by step through the entirety of it all, because there's no way that any single person can just snap their fingers and learn it like that. That is unrealistic. What I do want to talk about before I tell you anything else is this, and this is very important. You have the Unity income, which grants you these perks and adoption and completion effects. These are very powerful. Why? Well, it's pretty self-explanatory. If you get new colonies to start with one additional pop, smack damn, right there. That'll grant you more capabilities when you start a new colony. That's probably what I'm going to pick right now. Why? Because I'm about to start a new colony. You gotta figure that stuff out. Take some time, but you know, that's what the stuff is for. No, it's Stellaris is highly replayable, but there's something different about this, because I intend to go build a colony like this quick, which I do not usually do. Usually I wait a couple of years, like at least until 2205 or 2207. Usually I go with discovery first, and as you can see, if you adopt it, it reduces your station research build cost by 33%, and if you get them all, it increases your total research speed by 10%. And this is very important. Why? It does not increase each of your categories by 3%. No, all of your categories gain 10% research speed. Why is this relevant? Well, if you have the Utopia expansion, and you can select an ascension perk as soon as you've completed an entire tradition tree, you can pick a perk. And there's two perks that I can definitely recommend in any game as the first two perks to pick. And those perks are the Technological Ascendancy perk, which grants you another 10% research speed across the board, and or the One Vision perk, which increases your Unity output by at least 10%. And that is a lot. Now, the question might be, why these particular ones? Maybe I want to go with a story. You can do that. It is not obligated. But I found that getting the technological edge quickly in the game will help you prevent or help you win wars. And that's what you want, right? You want territory. Maybe you want vessels. Maybe you want other empires as your stockpiled food. That can all happen, and that's quite alright. setting this aside, let's see what happens. Alright, so the Sol system has been surveyed by my science ship, and as you can see, it is already moving to Alpha Centauri. Now, fun fact, if you click the arrow, you move to that system. Now you can see there's a lot of planetary bodies here, so I'm going to give you a tip. I'm actually waiting until I have enough minerals, but if you already have enough minerals and you really need to get that planet surveyed first, you can select the ship, and you can select it to survey that planet first, and afterwards you can still have it just survey the entire system. For now, we're just going to select the entire system. It's not much of an issue yet. Our spaceport does not currently have any modules available, so we'll start building a colony ship. That will take roughly a year. That is quite a long time, and as soon as you finished building it, it'll cost you 7 or 8 energy credits a month, which, as you can see, I currently do not have. So what does this tell you? I cannot actually afford said ship. So let's go ahead and check out what the construction ship can do for me. As you can see, it can build several power stations across the star system. Oh, let's see what I did there. I accidentally used X instead of square, or A instead of X when you're on Xbox, and it just reset. Alright, that's not my best. So we'll just have it build stations only with the power stations. And these power stations, you know, more energy credits means the capability of putting out a colony ship. And you don't need like a lot in the beginning, but you know, getting some early progress is quite nice. As you noticed earlier, there was a pop-up, and you may or may not have seen it. I'm pretty sure it was the Voltan this playthrough. Let's have a look. In the situation log, third from above. And it says precursors the Ute. Well, precursors are in every game, no matter your setting. There's always a precursor. And why is this important? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Well, it is basically an event chain, which you go through by discovering something from the Precursor Empire, which allows you to gain the story chain to begin with. See, 10% failure risk. Let's go ahead. And as soon as you start exploring the galaxy, you will find more and more traces of them. And if you complete those projects, they usually tend to be like hard, like you need, for quite a bit of it, you may need a level 5 scientist. You get these clues as to where have they come from, what happened, you know, complete with stories and everything. And oh, that is very interesting. Right. So at some point you'll complete the story and you'll learn what their home planet is. And if you are the first to reach their home system and scan their home world, you gain an incredible amount of research and unity just like that. And that's what you want, because I am talking about, even if you go tall and you have one planet, right? And it is always somewhere around 9 to 10k unity, no matter how far you are. So the earlier you find that, the bigger the bonus. At some point, for me, it gave me almost 3 tradition perks, just because I found the home system first. That is a crazy amount of time that you just cut off there on your way to your goal. So make sure to follow the precursors. Now, I just said something about having a scientist level 5. I'll get back to that in a different video. Let's handle things one step at a time. As you can see, my science ship, my construction ship is busy working its magic in the Sol star system. And the Alpha Centauri system has it has some good resources as well, which is very good. It is in my system. I'm going to colonize it. Let's see what's in there. Alright. This is very important. Why? I'll tell you straight away. You see, Alpha Centauri 3 is the goal for me to colonize, right? And you can tell that you can put up a mineral station, a mining station on there. But you should not do it. Why? This is very important. You will be wasting materials if you do. If you are about to colonize a planet, and that planet has a resource that you can mine, it is fine. If you don't want to colonize it, you can just put a station on there. That's fine. But as soon as I have colonized this particular planet, I will automatically gain those 3 minerals per month. I don't need a station or a special building for it. It is because I have claimed and settled on the planet that those are automatically mine. Now, this may sound overpowered, and frankly, if you're a bit lucky, it is, because some planets actually have like 13 or 20. It's rare, but it happens. Which is why they deleted that particular mechanic from patch 2.0 and onwards. So make sure to use it while you still can. As you can see, there's a lot of gas giants here. Gas giants being planets like Jupiter. They tend to have energy credits, but this is not always the case. And there is quite a bit of confusion about this, but it is fairly completely RNG. So if you find a lot of gas giants that don't have energy credits on them, don't sweat it. It's just, you can't help it. Let's see what Bernard Star has for us. Another gas giant. And what seems to be a world that I cannot colonize, a desert world. Okay, let's see what its size is. That is a pretty large world, 18 out of 25. Alright, very good. This means that this is a very good terraforming candidate. It is close to my home system, it has a nice number of tiles, and as soon as terraforming is unlocked in this game and this series, we'll go and have a look at it. Now, in the meantime, what we can do is we can go ahead and choose to upgrade our income, because right now I know I said I wanted to go for a colony ship, but to be quite honest, I only have 9 minerals a month. It would take bloody ages. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change that a bit. Now this is a hard choice. Naval capacity in the beginning is not necessarily something that you need to upgrade. At least not the first few years. So I'm going to skip that one right now. There's either Heritage Site, which is a resource building for Unity, or there is Monthly Influence and an Edict to come along with it. Now that Edict can be quite useful at some point after you've conquered an empire or a part of an empire. But right now that's not my goal, despite the fact that I could use influence for a lot of different things. We'll get to that in a different video. So I'm going to go with Heritage Site, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to build one on my homeworld. Why? I'm going to need all the Unity I can get. You've probably seen earlier how many perks there are. There are a grand total of 7 trees, each with a total of 6 adoption plus 5 perks unlockables to get. Now, as you can see, like 7. So where's the 8th ascension perk come in? That is actually a researchable. It is a tech that's at some point just comes along, and as soon as you get it, I always advise just take it straight away unless there's something that you need more dire than that. So let's go and upgrade the resources that we have.
Research complete.
Now, general advice, any station except for power station, such as here, Alpha Centauri 5, any mining station or research station costs maintenance in energy credits. So, what do? You make sure that whenever you build anything, basically, in space, that you pick the planets or planetoids or stars, whatever, that has the most output. Because it doesn't matter if it has 2 or 7 minerals output, if you put a mining station over it, the maintenance is the same. Especially in the beginning, you need to make very select choices. As you can see, there's a couple of them that have 4 here. So the best thing that I can do right now, before I start colonizing, is the best I can do is upgrade my mineral income and my energy credit income, and then keep upgrading them. At some point I'm going to have a lot more minerals, it's going to be a lot easier, and then start colonizing. Why? Well, I need the minerals. So what I'm doing right now is I got that construction ship over in Alpha Centauri, which is stupid because it only has 2. So I'm going to change that straight away. I'm going to send it to the Asmore system, and I'll have it build some stuff over there. It'll grant me more minerals with the same cost. Now this may look like nitpicking, but in the beginning you gotta be careful with your resources. I only have plus 12 energy credits right now. I'm definitely going to need like 7 or 8 to sustain a colony ship whilst it's colonizing. And I need to get more minerals a month to get there quicker, because I do not want to wait years for a single colony ship. That is just way too long. For right now, we have a good choice. Plus 5% minerals or ion thruster. Let's go with minerals. I need more minerals anyway before I can properly upgrade a fleet of any kind. And I still need to expand my fleet. So there was a lot of information on what a starting strategy can look like in this particular game. Remember that this particular starting strategy, go wide first, then tall, works for me. And I like playing xenophilic egalitarian empires. I also like playing technocracies, like you know, the kind of society that really focuses on technology. It may not be the same for you, and it may not even be easy, even if it is. Or you might not agree with me. But in any case, here's something important you need to know. Make sure that whatever it is that you choose, if you have questions, you ask them. To me, to your buddies, to your community, wherever you think is best. Expect to lose a few times when you start playing this game. And this is natural. It is with most large-scale grand strategy games that this happens. Stellaris is no exception. By far no exception. And remember, Unity grants you powers, passive perks, and ascension perks, which allow you to do a lot of things, including technological ascendancy, more tech output, more unity output, mega structures. That's the kind of stuff that you want. That's what you want to work towards. And if you play this game right, I'm hoping that you will, at the end of the series, you will have mega structures before the year 2400. And that's the goal. Having mega structures by the time endgame begins, in place, operational, to use them to your advantage. I hope you've been enjoying this video. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.